guys, welcome to TCR. Sid here. I was just pulling up. I always get my round of applause from the turkeys when I say my name. Neil, bro, Lord have mercy. I was just pulling up to the house and I noticed that the duck that's been underneath the cargo container again had a few ducklings out, and I came out here to see if I could see her, but she took them back underneath the cargo container. But Frankie was out here earlier with the goats, and so funny, and she said she counted like 10 to 12 of them, but it was hard because they were kind of moving around a lot. So, and it sounds like there's one that's lost. Something's chirping like a baby chirp. Oh, they're in here. A couple ducklings got separated. Yep, they got in here through the turkey pen. Good thing I came out here. So they got separated from mama. So I'm gonna have to go in here and wrangle them. Yep, it's okay, it's okay. Oh. Ah, come on guys. I know. I'm gonna take you back to your mama. I know, Bubba's. I was like, why do I hear chirping? I have to do this with one hand. I was like, why do I hear chirping? I know I have a Jenny sitting on some on a clutch of eggs. Watch out, guys. Watch out, babies. I know everybody's mad right now. I know. Holy moly. Those are not yours. I thought that was the mom. All right, we're gonna take you back to your mom. I know. Let's see these pretty little. Woo! Lord have mercy. Got a jumper. Let's see if I can get her to take these back, because I don't want to have to put them in the burrito. Look, Mama's in there. You see Mama? There you go. There you go. There we go. There we go. There we go. See, but I can't even see under there, but I can hear the mama calling to him. So, good thing I went and checked. They had somehow squeezed in through the wire over there when she took them in the yard. So, I've done my good deed for the day. I've returned the ducklings to their mom. So, that's a good thing. And now, the initial reason for getting the camera and turning it on, I've got a bunch of breakfast burritos that I'm gonna make with some of our sausage, and I thought I'd show you guys how I do it. The breakfast burritos are really great to do for things that you can make ahead of time for parties. They're a big crowd pleaser, easy. You can make them the day before so that you're not stuck in the kitchen with your friends, or away from your friends rather, while they're enjoying the party. And you can also wrap them up and stick them in the freezer and use them later. Great for, you know, to have on hand. So actually what I did is I knew I was going to be making a bunch of these burritos for Frankie's belated birthday. So I defrosted several pounds of sausage, and actually chorizo, and some Italian. So I'm going to make a couple different batches. And then I also defrosted the eggs that I froze, and I learned a trick from watching a cooking show about how to get the eggs really, really fluffy. So I'm going to show you guys that in just a minute. Let's head in the kitchen. Okay guys, here we are back in the kitchen. So I've got the beginnings of my burritos going on here. So I've got all my eggs and my meat over there, which we'll do that last. I've got a pan heating up right now with some coconut oil in it. And in the oven, I've got some hash brown, like crisscross fries. I prefer to use the tater tots, the sweet potato ones, but they didn't have any, and I wanted to do sweet potatoes. It's a little bit healthier. The organic, non-GMO brands that I got. But these will work, so I can break them up and add them to the burritos. So I'm going to start out with, in this hot pan, I'm going to throw in a few of the onions that Mike grew, that I chopped up. as well as some of the fermented garlic that Mike did from the garden. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this all in this hot pan. Stir it around in here. We'll let those kind of grill up a little bit. Okay, so I've had the onions in here for a couple of minutes and they're looking pretty good. I chopped up some of those sweet little peppers that sometimes you'll see in like veggie trays or whatever. I really like to use these versus bell peppers. They're easier to chop up fast and get them into little pieces. And they mix really well with the onion flavoring when you do them in the pan like this. And they're great to add into the burritos. Let those do their thing for a little bit. So in the meantime, I'm going to prepare some of my cilantro. So I'm still waiting for the potatoes to finish in the oven. They've got about 15 more minutes left. I'm going to show you guys what all I put in my burritos and how to wrap them up and then how to store them. So they're great. I highly recommend doing like your own version of either a breakfast burrito or a burrito. I prefer the breakfast burrito because it's really easy to make, especially if you have a lot of eggs and meat like we do. And they're great for parties because you can, like I said, you can make them ahead of time, wrap them all up, and then all you have to do is stick them in the oven at a low temp for a little while just to warm them back up and set them out for people to eat. And then you can wrap, you have them already wrapped, and then the ones that don't get eaten at the party or whatever, you're not going to eat the next day, you go ahead and stick them in the freezer. You just make sure you write the date and what you put in them if you made different versions so that you know. But super handy to do. Okay guys, so I pulled off the peppers and onions. They're off to the side. We're going to use that in the filling in a minute. So now I've got my eggs that I defrosted. This is 2 dozen. I'm actually going to do a little bit more. I'm making a lot of burritos, guys. But I'm actually going to get this so I don't rip the cord out of the wall. How about that? I'm going to use my submersion blender to blend the eggs up really well. Now these were already lightly scrambled and mixed before I froze them. I'm going to go ahead and turn my pan back on here. I'm just going to season these a little bit with some salt and pepper. I did, if you've watched the how to freeze your eggs video, I did put a pinch of salt in these already. I'm just going to add a little bit more. Get these all poured in. Alright guys, so I'm trying to multitask here. I've got a couple pounds of Italian sausage that I'm going to be making some of the burritos with. I'm just breaking it up. And then I've got 7 pounds of chorizo that I'm making. I'm just going to get this kind of broke up. And a tip here, guys. So a few weeks ago I did a video on how to freeze your eggs. And it's super handy when you've got your chickens laying a bunch of eggs. When you defrost them, just a little tip, once you defrost them in the fridge, when you pull them out, they're going to look a little weird. They do get a little bit congealed is almost the word I would use. They just get a little bit bumpy. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just because they were frozen. And so it's totally fine. But using that immersion blender to help fluff them up really helped a lot. And then also I noticed that the color was more orange than like with the fresh eggs. But again, it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But just be prepared, like if you use frozen eggs and do that when you're doing a big quantity of something, like basically saving up eggs to make a big thing of something. They look fine once they're cooked, as you can see. They look totally normal. But just as you're cooking it, I could see like more of like an orangey red kind of coming out of them until they turned yellow once they cooked. So totally fine, no big deal. But I highly recommend using that immersion blender, especially on frozen eggs. On fresh eggs, especially if you're doing like an omelet or like maybe even on a quiche or something where you want that little bit of extra air and fluff. It just really just kind of adds, I think, a richness to it. Okay guys, so the Italian is done and I've got the chorizo split between the 2 pans now to help it cook a little faster. So I'm going to go ahead and prep because we're going to get ready here to actually make and roll the burritos. So I'm going to show you a little trick here that my daughter taught me because she likes to watch all those life hack videos and she's constantly blowing my mind. So for those of you who don't know, Saran wrap and Reynolds wrap, there's these little tabs on the side. And for some of you I'm about to blow your mind and some of you are going to be like, Sid, we already knew that. But for those of you that I'm about to blow your mind, awesome sauce. So there's these two little tabs that go through the roller on each side that you punch in. And then once you get this part opened, you find where the beginning of it is. There it is. It's not going to roll out of the package on you. It's going to stay locked in the package. You know, that's that big battle you have when you try to flail it about and all of that. This is going to keep it from doing that. And then it's just super easy. Super awesome life hack that my dog taught me. I love that one. So this tin foil is a little different. I grabbed it because number one, it was on sale. And number two, it said that it's non-stick. So I'm excited about that for freezing purposes, especially. I think that's going to be muy helpful. Now, if you're going to be eating these right away, go ahead and toast your tortillas if you like. I don't do that because I just don't. I'm using store-bought tortillas. I know I didn't like get up and grow the maize and grind the corn and make the tortillas from scratch. But growing up in Southern California, you know, we have a lot of local Mexican flavor, and there's a lot of really good tortillas locally to be found from little Mexican shops and stuff. So it's never hard to find good tortillas if you really want authentic tasting real tortillas made by some little abuelita, you know? So you're good to go on that, at least out here. I'm sure it's the same thing in parts of Texas too. Okay, so you're going to take your giant burrito tortilla. I'm using the big one. I'm going to take some of my peppers here that I grilled up and put those in here. I'm going to make this one with chorizo. Put some eggs. Shredded cheese in there. A little bit of cilantro. And some of these potato fries. So you kind of just want to scoop everything towards the center. And you're going to kind of fold in the sides and bring the bottom up to meet it all the way up and over. Oops, there's a tortilla. And then you're going to tuck it. You're going to pull it and tuck this underneath nice and tight. And then you're going to keep rolling it as this is all tucked in. Then you have a nice burrito. You go ahead and roll it once into that. I'm going to fold this in. I'm sure there's neater ways to do that, but similar to the way you wrapped the burrito. And then it's ready to go. Thanks for watching, guys. That's how we make our burritos around here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and click that bell so you get the notifications.